Hello and welcome to this physics lecture. In today's part, we are going to learn more about thermodynamic processes. So, whenever any parameter changes and when one parameter remains constant, it gives rise to a thermodynamic change, a change in the variables. That is, the main components are pressure, temperature, volume. So, keeping one or two constants and the other variables, then we can change the state of the system. For example, the first thermodynamic process that we are going to learn is isobaric process. Now, when you study about this process, isobaric process, it means that you have to go back to this equation PV equals to nRT. So, PV equals to nRT means the pressure is remaining constant over here, N and R are the other two constants. So, what we get is V by T is a constant because pressure also is a constant, and when pressure remains constant in a system, that time isobaric process happens. So, the best example of an isobaric process is when you are heating some water in an open vessel which is exposed to the environment. So, in that you can see that the pressure is remaining constant, that is the air pressure. So, V by T is a constant, right? And now we have to analyze this process with the help of various graphs. The first graph that you're going to take is PV graph. This is pressure and this is volume. So you can clearly see that pressure being constant, this line is going to be in this direction. The other direction is this. Now why have we drawn two lines? It's because this is for isobaric expansion and this is for isobaric compression. So here the volume is decreasing, here the volume is increasing, and at that point the pressure is constant. So this is isobaric expansion and this is isobaric compression. Now let's try to draw the Vt graphs. So we have just seen that Vt is a constant. So V is equal to some constant times T. That is what we can write. So Vt graph is going to be something like this, which is V and T. So along with time, the volume expands linearly. And the slope of this graph, this is going to be this, which is the constant V by T. This is the slope of the graph. So let's see some other graphs. The next graph is pressure and temperature graph, which is also going to be quite similar to this. So pressure and temperature graph would be this. So temperature is varying and pressure is remaining constant in either of the case. The next expression that we are going to learn with respect to this process is that of the work done. So work done in an isobaric process would be given as P delta V, which is pressure at that point which is constant and change in volume V final minus V initial. This would give us the work done. Now we also know that this P delta V we can write as NR delta T. So the other expression for this would be NR T final minus T initial. This would be the other expression that will be used for calculating the work done in this process. So as far as the first law is concerned, we know that the first law is energy supplied is change in internal energy plus the work done. So energy supplied this time we can write as delta U plus P delta V, or we can also write as delta Q is equal to delta U plus NR delta T. So these are the expressions which would be used with respect to the first law of thermodynamics. Next, let us learn about a process called as isochoric process. So isochoric process is a process in which the volume remains constant. For example, if there is a certain system with fixed walls and some heat is supplied, then we call that process as isochoric process. Now in isochoric process, volume remains constant. So let's analyze the equations now. First, let us draw the graph. And the very first thing that we're going to do is analyze this equation. So now the volume is remaining constant. So volume is constant, Nr is constant. It means that pressure is directly proportional to temperature. So if I have to draw a PT graph, it will be obviously a straight line graph this way, and this straight line is passing through the origin. Next, we can draw a PV graph. So this is a PV graph. Then you can clearly see that this is volume. So either this can happen or this can also happen. So here the pressure is increasing and the other way around, pressure is decreasing. In either of the case, the slope is going to be dP by dV, which is infinity. As you can see that this line is parallel to the y-axis, that is why the slope is going to be infinity. Next, we talk about the work done. So when the volume is constant, we know that work done is given as P delta V. Now if delta V is 0, that means volume remains constant. V final minus V initial is going to be 0, which means that work done in this process is 0. And if you go to first law of thermodynamics, we will get the equation as delta Q is equal to delta U plus P delta V. So this goes and we get the expression like delta Q is delta U. Now we know this delta U has one common expression that is to be used in every particular process. So delta U is forever N CV delta T. Specifically, we are using this now because this CV is the specific heat at constant volume. This is the number of moles and this is the change in temperature. So it means that the expression for delta Q in this particular expression is going to be N CV delta T. For 1 mole, N is going to be 1 and the expression is going to be CV delta T. We are going to discuss more about this CV in the lecture of heat capacities. Let's take up a question on this. What is the heat input needed to raise the temperature of 2 moles of the helium gas from 0 to 100 degrees centigrade? So we have to supply some heat at constant volume. So there are two processes actually. One is at constant pressure, the other one is at constant volume. We have to find the heat input required to raise the temperature of this gas from 0 to 100, and the number of moles is 2. So delta Q at constant pressure would be given as NCP delta T. That is the same formula that we learned for constant volume. That CV is replaced by CP. That means specific heat at constant pressure. Now, according to the gas, that is, there are 3 types of gases. One is the monoatomic gas, diatomic gas and the triatomic gas. Now, helium is a monoatomic gas. So it's helium gas right now, so it's monoatomic. Now for monoatomic gas, Cp is given as 5 by 2 R and Cv is given as 3 by 2 R, where R is the universal gas constant. Now this is given, we can find delta Q, where Cp is going to be 5 by 2 R. So 2 into 5 by 2 R into delta T, which is 100. So this goes and what we get is 500 R. That is delta Q for the first one. For the second one, delta Q is going to be NCV delta T, which is going to be 2 into 3 by 2 R into 100, because change in temperature is from 0 to 100, so 100 degrees. 2 goes and then we get 300 R. Now we have got the heat supplied in either of the case. What we have to find is work done in part 2. Work done in part 2 is going to be at constant volume. At constant volume, it is 0. So delta Q is equal to delta U and work done is 0 in the second case. However, at constant pressure, if you want to find out, if at constant pressure we want to find out, then what we have to do is, we have to again apply the equation delta Q is equal to delta U plus delta W. So delta W is going to be delta Q minus delta U. So delta Q, as you know, is NCP delta T, and this is always NCV delta T. So we know already that NCP delta T is 500 R and this is 300 R. So overall equation, overall answer that we get is 200 R. 200 R joules, that is going to be the answer for constant pressure process. For constant volume process, the work done is going to be 0 because volume does not change. Let's talk next about the isothermal process. Now isothermal means the temperature remains constant. So the equation of state will now be, this all being constant, we can write this as PV equals to constant. So we can write an equation like P1 V1 equals to P2 V2 for this particular process, that's isothermal process. Now let's come back to the graphs. So if I draw a PV graph now for this, you can clearly see that P is here and V is here. So the equation is going to be P is equal to C by V. So it is just like Y is equal to some constant by X. So this is a hyperbola this way, and this is called an isotherm. So isotherm is a curve which connects all the points which have same temperatures. So on this graph, all points have same temperatures. Now this being said, what we can do is, we can just draw a few more graphs like this. Let's say these are some isotherms that we have plotted, and this is a temperature T1, this is a temperature T2, this is a temperature T3. So for sure I can say that T3 greater than T2 greater than T1. Now this is about the PV graph. What will happen to P and T graph? Now temperature is constant, so this will be this way. That is, temperature is constant over here. What about the VT graph? Now again it will be the same thing, that is, temperature is constant but volume will change. Now after we do this, let's calculate the work done. So work done in this process is going to be slightly different. Let's see how to do it. So we know that volume is changing, and this is the basic equation of work done, that is V initial to V final. This is what we know. But then we know that this pressure can be written in terms of volume, as we know that PV is equal to nRT. So this pressure we can write as nRT by P, nRT by V. So let's substitute this over here, nRT by V dV, from V initial to V final. So this nRT being a constant is taken out, and then V initial to V final we can write as dV by V. Now integration of this is going to be ln V, and these are the limits. So after we substitute, we are going to get ln of V final minus ln of V initial. So after we substitute and use the properties of log, you know that ln of A minus ln of B is same as ln of A by B. So we can write this as nRT ln of V final by V initial. So this is one expression. Now if you want to convert natural logarithm to basic logarithm of which the base is 2, at that time we have to multiply a factor 2.303 nRT log of V final by V initial. Now if you want to write this expression in terms of pressure, you can clearly see that P initial V initial is equal to P final V final. So we can write V final by V initial is equal to P initial by P final. So now we can write this expression as work done is 2.303 nRT log P initial by P final. This is the expression that is used to calculate work done in isothermal process. Let's talk about variation in internal energy. Now, as discussed earlier, internal energy is a factor which is entirely dependent on the temperature. So, if the temperature remains constant, then there won't be any change in internal energy. So, for an isothermal process, we can say that since temperature change is 0, the change in internal energy as well is 0. And then, if this is 0, then we know that this is the expression that is used for first law of thermodynamics. So this goes. So it means that the change in the heat supplied would be either given by this expression or the same expression over here. So the expression for work done and for the change in heat or rise in heat given or heat rejected would be the same in this isothermal process. So we know for our convention that if heat is released, then it would be negative, and if heat is absorbed in the system, then it would be positive. Let's see a small concept about the slope of PV graph in the isothermal process. Now we know that PV is equal to constant. So now I am going to find out the expression dP by dV in this particular part. So this is going to be dP by dV with V being constant. Next time this expression is going to be V being constant is going to be 1 into P. This is equal to 0. So now we can write V dP by dV is equal to minus P, or dP by dV is equal to minus P by V. That is the slope of this PV graph. So now how did I use this particular expression? Let me give you a small background of this. So in differentiation, let's say that if this is the function, that means a combination of two functions, and we have to differentiate with respect to some variable, let's say x in this case, then it is given as du by dx, keeping the other function constant, and then second time what we do is we keep the first function constant and then we write dv by dx. So this is called the product rule in differentiation, which I have used over here, and according to that I find that dp by dv is minus p by v. Now if I draw a PV graph, let's verify it from the graph as well. If this is the graph, that is, this is isotherm PV graph. So accordingly, you can clearly see that this is going to be the tangent at any point. That is, it's always going to be in this fashion. Take any point and it's always going to be, this angle is going to be obtuse. Now this angle is obtuse, then you know, and you have studied in straight lines, that it will have a negative slope. So that's what we are getting over here from this equation. So the slope of this curve is minus P by V. Let's take up this problem. 5 moles of an ideal gas at 1200 Kelvin is compressed from 200 liters to 20 liters. Evaluate the work done in the process. So we know that the formula is going to be nRT ln V final by V initial. That's what the formula is. So work done in this case is going to be 5. R value is 8.314. Temperature is given as 1200 Kelvin, which is 1200, and ln of 200 by 20. So 20 tens are. So ln 10 is what you define. Now ln 10 is difficult to find in the sense we don't know the value, but log 10 we know. Log 10 to the base 10 is 1. So we can convert this as 2.303 into 5 into 8.314 into 1200 into log 10. Now this is log 10 to the base 10, which is 1. And when we calculate this answer, the answer comes to, this is going to be ln of 20 by 200, simply because v final is 20 and b initial is 200. So we get ln 1 by 10, or we can write it as log of 10 with a minus sign. So final answer comes to minus 11.4 into 10 raised to 4 joules. Now this holds because now the volume is compressed, so work is done on the system, and hence the answer that we get should be negative. So what did we exactly do from here to here? We know that ln of 1 by 10 is same as minus of ln 10. Why? Because this we can write as ln of 1 minus ln of 10. ln of 1 is 0 and this is minus ln 10, which we wrote over here. So when I wrote it as log 10, I also multiplied it with 2.303 so that I can convert ln to log. So ln means log to the base e, and this is log to the base 10. So when we do this transformation from natural logarithm to the base 10 logarithm, we have to multiply by the factor 2.303, and the final answer is this.